We need to communicate that. We need to communicate facts. We need to point out to the Russian people what's happening around you, what's happening in your own country. What are you getting from what's happening in Ukraine? Is it benefiting you at all? In what way is it benefiting you? Maybe a small percentage of the country that's in the defense industrial complex. Who else? Who else? Like, are the majority of Russians benefiting from this? No. Or is it promoting Russian dignity and power? No. Your allies are all collapsing around you, right? You've been unable to do anything to help them. You can look at Syria, you can look at Venezuela, now what's happening in Iran. And many countries which were kind of, on the fence are now backing off because they see your behavior. And why? What does it get you? But I don't know if that message is delivered enough. And I think some people have taken the defeatist attitude that, you can't promote information inside of Russia. And I don't believe that. During the Cold War, when the KGB was at its zenith of power, we still were able to, deliver information into the Soviet Union. And I think we could still do it today. And it shouldn't be disinformation. We shouldn't focus on disinformation. Because I know the Russians think, we're promoting disinformation. No, counter what they're saying with facts.
That's a great plan.
What kind of patriarch is promoting war, is openly blessing missiles that are killing civilians, right? That to me, I think, listen, I know a lot of Russians, and I don't think that they really believe that that is right. Right? And I know a lot of Russians too, and I think, that they just would like to live their lives like the Ukrainians. They were dragged into this thing. Their sons are being sent off to die en masse. For what? So that is a message I think needs to be delivered to the Russian people. And that if the war ends, this is one thing in the West we need to think about, if the Russians start to behave in a better way, how do you reward that behavior? Because that's one thing I've seen too in the last 10, 15 years. It's always punishment, but there's very little talk about what is the reward for good behavior, right? For pulling troops out of Ukraine, out of Georgia, right? Trying to, be better to your neighbors, to stopping the disinformation operations, to stopping the cyber attacks. If that happens, how do you say, okay, well, that's a good sign. Like, how do we engage now in a positive way and make it worthwhile for the people of Russia, right? And I know, like, Ukrainians listen to this are all going to get mad at me, and I can understand why. It's very emotional. But I do think we have to think about how do you encourage those Russians that want to behave in a positive way to behave positively, so that they don't see that everyone is against them. That is one thing that Ronald Reagan did. And I think